Hey, this is the second part of the tutorial how to use Twitter API. In the first part, we created Twitter account and we were waiting for the activation process. If you are watching this part without any active developer Twitter account, please create one with the part 1 of the tutorial. The link is in the description. If you have active Twitter developer account, let's go forward. The first thing that you need to do is to log in into developer.twitter.com using your own account. Let's open up an apps menu available from the dropdown here. Click apps and then click create app. Here you will need to create your application. Remember, the goal is to get access token from Twitter to use in our application. So describe the application goal with details. And then we will have to tell them how this app will be used. If you are ready, click create. Here is the reminder from the Twitter that we cannot use the Twitter API functionality if we are the government, if you are going to create some bots that will send direct messages or use some sensitive information. I'm not gonna be breaking this policy, so I'm gonna create. And now the application is created. You can access it by clicking your username and apps. And then here you have your application. You can also click here details and then go for the keys and tokens. As you can see, here we have consumer API keys and access token. For the application to work without user logging in, you need to generate both. The important part here is that you need to save your access token and access token secret somewhere safe, because once you generate them, you cannot show them. These are your secrets that only you can know. If you lose them, you can always regenerate them, but then your application will stop working until you reconfigure it with the new ones and restart it. I'm gonna click generate and copy them somewhere safe. The next step is to download the code from the GitHub link from the description below. The simplest way is just to copy the code from the GitHub file directly into your editor, and that will be the thing that I'll do here. Let's open up Visual Studio Code. Here, the only requirement is to install the extension Python. Click on the extension tab and then type in Python and just click install. If the extension installs correctly, there's going to be this button right here. It says the version of your Python in your system. And now what you need to do is go to your file explorer and click open folder. Alternatively, you can go into your file menu and click open folder. And now let's open your folder for your project. I got a new empty folder right here. It's called Python. I'm gonna just double click it. As you can see, it's empty, and click select folder. Now we've got Visual Studio Code open in the context of our folder. The last thing that we need to do here is to open up the terminal by clicking Ctrl backtick. It's just above the tab on your keyboard. Or you can go terminal, new terminal, and type in pip install tweepy. It will just install the library that is going to connect to the Twitter. And as you can see, it's successfully installed. You can now close the terminal, and now let's create a new file by clicking new file in the Explorer pane here and give it a name like twitter.py. And now we can start coding. Here I'm gonna paste the code from my GitHub account. The code is in the description below. And now I'm gonna try to run it. But watch out for that white dot, because that means our code is not saved. So we need to press Ctrl S on my keyboard, or you can go File and Save. As you can see, it just disappears. Now let's run this script by clicking F5 on your keyboard or by clicking this new button. As you can see, the script gives us 401 error. It means unauthorized. You can now stop the execution of the script by clicking Ctrl C on your keyboard. And we need to configure our code by pasting in the API tokens from the Twitter account. Now you got it copied. Be sure to save the file. And now, before I run it, I'm gonna just explain to you what the code actually does. So, the first thing that we need to do is import the tweepy library. The second thing that we need to do is to paste our Twitter API keys. The third thing is to create API object. This is just an if statement for the errors. And the last thing is that we need to create a tweepy stream that is going to be using authentication method from our configuration here, and the listener will be our newly created class. More on that later. Here, this is the most important statement here. This statement says start a stream from Twitter and filter it by a keyword news. You can change it for whatever you like cats or something like that, but I'm gonna keep the news. And the last part is understanding what the MyStreamListener does. It's right here. MyStreamListener is just a class which responds to two events: when the new tweets arrive from Twitter server, and the second option is to display an error. As you can see, both methods do exactly the same thing. They just print the information that is coming from the method parameters. Here I'm printing the text property of the status because I don't want too much information in my terminal, like Twitter logins, Twitter dates, or something like that. I'm just interested in the actual tweets, like the text component of them. Now, if we understand the code, let's run it by clicking Ctrl S on my keyboard to save the file, and then by clicking this green triangle to run it. As you can see, we've got a whole bunch of tweets coming from all around the world. That's it, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please leave a like, or if you didn't, give me a dislike down below. In the second part, we will be creating a classifier to separate tweets into categories, also in real time. Stay tuned, guys.